Hey there everybody! Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these 3D paper ice cream cones with candy inside of them. The supplies you're going to need for this are 50 to 65 pound cardstock. You'll need a Cricut Maker machine. You can get these templates for free on the blog. You'll also want the scoring wheel and the perforation blade that goes with the Cricut Maker machine. You'll also need some candy to fill inside of your ice cream cone and a glue gun, and I also recommend the Tombow liquid glue for closing the shapes together. Before you start on this craft, please make sure you have watched part 1 of this video for all the setup that you need inside of Design Space. The link is below for that. Alright, so I have my pieces cut out here and scored and ready to go. I've got my little bag of candy that I'm going to fill inside of the ice cream scoop. So of course the first thing you're going to want to do is just crease everything along the score lines. So just follow those score lines and fold everything, give it a good deep crease. And make sure your lines are nice and crisp and ready to go for when we glue everything closed here. You're going to do this, of course, with both the cone and the ice cream scoop template as well. And I think it's fun to do the ice cream scoop in like 2 different sizes. So at the end you'll see me actually do 2 scoops, but just know that the only difference between them is I just sized them a little differently on my cutting machine, and then just layered them on top of each other. That's of course completely optional depending on how much time you have for your craft and how detailed you want to get with it. One scoop can look really cute too, so either way is perfectly fine and looks really cute. So I have my cone base here folded. That's pretty quick and easy to fold together. And then of course along the inner tabs there you would just add some glue. Like I said, you can use hot glue for this. I'm using hot glue because I don't want to bore you guys with stopping a million times to hold my pieces of paper closed here, but I do recommend using the Tombow with liquid glue because it is a little bit easier to work with when you're dealing with intricate tabs like this. I'm using the glue gun because I've made these a few times before, so I can still do a fairly decent job with the glue gun, but I do recommend the Tombow glue if you can do it. It just works a little bit better. You will have to hold it till dry, but it does work just a little bit better and has smoother lines and things like that, especially when you get to this part here, which is folding your scoop here. So just go ahead and fold all those little tabs in. There's quite a few of them, so it might take you a couple minutes, and just get them all folded together here, nice and creased. Watch for that perforation area. Make sure you don't accidentally crease along the perforation if you did this on a cutting machine, because you don't want to accidentally crease your perforation and then break it open before the person you're giving this to actually has a chance to break it open and get the candy inside. So just be careful, just be mindful of that as you're folding all your tabs here. So now at this point I'm just going along each one of those tabs, adding a little bit of glue and closing the shape together. This is the part particularly, especially as you get, as the shape closes more around itself. If you're using hot glue you might find it to get more and more tricky. I actually kind of messed one of my sides up a little bit here towards the end of the project, you might notice, and that's because I didn't take my time and use the liquid glue, so it was kind of trying to be a little hasty. So if you find that your shape for the scoop is not coming together right when you get down to those last few tabs you have to glue closed, go ahead and try that liquid Tombow glue that I recommend, because it will cooperate with you a little bit more than the glue gun will. And it does dry clear for the most part, so even if you don't get it perfectly where you want it, it can be a little more forgiving, especially than hot glue, which tends to not be forgiving if you get it anywhere except the exact spot you mean to. So where I just pointed to there was where the perforation was, for where your recipient is going to be able to pull back or punch through and get that candy. So I'm just saying, be mindful of where you're gluing there, so you don't mess with that perforation at all. So this is just one of the very many ways that you could use that perforation quick swap housing with the Cricut Maker. I'm already brainstorming a lot of other projects for this. If you have another project in mind that you think it would be really cool to see and you want me to create it, go ahead and leave that in the comments below. I would love to know. I always am inspired by your ideas, and I'm thinking something for fall already, like maybe some sort of like candy for fall inside of a pumpkin or something. I don't know yet, but we'll see. I'm sure there'll be another craft or two. Okay, so I have my little bag of candy here. You can put the candy directly inside if you want to, but I also recommend just a little cellophane bag that's small and easy to get out of the ice cream scoop there. And now you're just going to want to line up your edges and close this shape together. Here's where it gets a little bit more tricky, so just try and be patient and go one at a time. It can be helpful to kind of stick your finger underneath at the beginning there and get good contact with your fingers pressing the shape closed. Using a thin wood dowel can also be helpful to sort of thread it through, which is smaller than your finger, and kind of help you grab the tabs where the glue are on the inside. So I do recommend that as well. You could also use something like some weeding tweezers or something like that. So I have mine all done here. I just made 2 scoops in 2 different sizes the exact same way. You could just do 1 single scoop. You could do just the 1 larger single scoop if you wanted to, or you could layer 2 together like I'm going to do here. And when you add your first one, just go ahead and add the glue along those tabs of that cone. For this part, I do recommend you use hot glue because it is a stronger hold, and especially if you have candy inside of those cones, you want to make sure that it's not easily tipping off. So for this part, I do recommend using hot glue. And just line your edges up there. They're both pentagon shapes, so it should line up pretty effortlessly for you there. And press it till dry. And you could leave it just like this, which I think is really cute as it is. But then, of course, I'm going to add that smaller scoop on top here. So I'm just adding some glue to the top of the cone and then placing the other one on top of it, kind of at a little bit of an alternated angle. And there you have it. That is your little ice cream favor craft, and I think these are really fun and easy to make, and you can of course get these templates for free on the blog, which are linked around this video and below in the description.